Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is episode number 90 of the Audible Farm podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa. Each order is made specifically for whoever ordered it. That means that if you order coffee, they're roasting your order for you specifically. They're not roasting hundreds of pounds and waiting for people to buy it. No way. They're roasting it fresh and then sending it directly to your door. That's hard to beat. And I'll tell you what, you can get 20% off just because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. Go to their website, www.couchtowncoffee.com, find a coffee you like, make an order, and when you make an order, let them know that Audible Farms sent you their direction by entering the code word PIE. The code word this week is PIE. It's kind of a goofy code word, but the code word's PIE. It'll save you 20% on your order. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee supports local and they love music too. If you guys don't believe me, go check out that episode I did with Andrew Chipman from Couchtown Coffee. He's been a musician in the majority of his life, so check it out. There's no wonder here why Couchtown Coffee supports the local music scene. So check them out, www.couchtowncoffee.com. Code word for 20% off this week is PIE. Why is the code word PIE? Because this week I'm sitting down with Cameron Smith from Eugene Levy. Yeah, man, Eugene Levy's been one of those bands that recently I have just been digging so much. We contacted each other earlier in the week and we're like, hey, I was looking for YouTube channels to subscribe to. He said, hey, Eugene Levy's got one. I said, oh, baby. I went and listened to some of the stuff and I couldn't believe my ears. It's that early 2000s pop punk kind of stuff that I grew up on, and I just absolutely love it. I bet you're wondering why that code word was Pie. Eugene Levy was an actor, and he was in American Pie. We talk a little bit about that in the podcast. So if you're miffed about what the code word is this week, you'll get it here in due time. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is a great episode with a great guy, Cameron Smith from Eugene Levy, and it's episode number 90. I hope you guys enjoy it.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
I am sitting down today with Cameron Smith of Eugene Levy, not the actor, the band.
Right.
Yeah. And so if anybody's looking for Eugene Levy and you come across this verified account with this dorky looking dude, it's probably the wrong account.
Yeah, Eugene Levy band. That's how we everybody looks us up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if you search that, you're first in the search for like every platform. So that's an easy,
awesome.
Yeah, it's an easy way to find you. So that's how I ended up finding a lot of your guys' online stuff as far as like your Bandcamp and such. But you guys are one of those bands that I've heard about for a long time, and it was one of those deals where I think it's just the lack of proximity. You guys are located all the way across the state from where I'm at, so I never got the opportunity to see you live. But once I sat down and listened to your guys' material, I was like, holy crap, I got to go see you guys live. It's really great stuff, man. It harkens back to the post 2000 like pop punk era kind of stuff, and it's right up my alley. Is that something that like you grew up listening to, or?
Oh, all of us, I think. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Newfound Glory, Blink-182, MXPX, stuff like that, kind of got us into punk, initially. And then, as we progress as older, you know what I mean? I just feel like a lot of guys our age, anybody our age, kind of gravitates towards nostalgia at some point, So American Pie, another staple, film-wise growing up. So we all love the soundtrack. So we're like, well, how can we put this thing together? And Eugene Levy obviously is the actor, the father in American Pie. So we were like, let's just call the band that, and then make sure all of our songs sound like something that would come off the soundtrack. And I think that's where it's at now, man. But yeah, Newfound Glory, that fun time stuff. Our live shows are the same way, man. Just super energetic, super fun. action packed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the music I grew up listening to, and it was always like, if my life could only be like a Sum 41 music video where everyone's just partying and having fun, and you got people with, tattoos hanging out with people with Iron Maiden shirts hanging out with, and it's everyone's just mixed together having a blast. And I mean, that was my favorite music growing up, and I've got to say, like, my first band I was in, we played a lot of pop punk kind of stuff because that was what most of us listened to at the time. And I mean, it's my favorite kind of music, so it's small wonder why I dig you guys so much if you guys are leaning that direction.
Oh, big time. Where at on the other side of the state are you? I mean, how close are you from Des Moines?
I'm actually, like, me personally, I'm located in northern Iowa, north of Fort Dodge. So I'm like 2 hours from Des Moines.
Dang, yeah. See, we go to Des Moines every here and again. So, yeah, gosh darn, that sucks, man. We really would love to have you at a show for sure. So next time you're down, or want to make that trip, let us know, man. We'll guest list you in for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to say when I got in contact with you guys initially, there was I saw in one of the message threads with somebody that at one point in time we attempted to book a show together in Des Moines, but it worked out that we couldn't play the show because we were playing another show.
Okay.
So I play in a punk band, so I've had like that one scarce opportunity to see you guys live, and it was like two ships passing in the night. I just missed you, and
it'll happen, man. It'll happen. Trust me. We'll get Three Finger Betty and Eugene Levy out together. We'll make it happen.
Awesome. Yeah, that's like one of those my favorite things about playing live music is I've actually run into so many bands that it's just like, I dig this band so much. Like, I dig it more than like what's on the radio. It's so weird to describe because it's like, it harkens back to what I used to listen to when I was growing up, but it's tangible because it's someone from like within the state making this music that's original, and it actually, it's really, really good. That's the thing that a lot of people seem to discount, is the fact that they're like, oh, I don't want to go to a punk show because it's just people yelling and stuff, and they don't know how to play their instruments and blah, blah, blah. But your guys' stuff is very refined. I mean, even as far as your recordings, the recordings are stellar.
Oh, yeah. We take pride in that, man. Yeah, we want a good product out there, For one, it's fun, but for two, I mean, yeah, it's even more fun to listen back to your stuff with such professional production. Sound and Silence is who we go to. Aaron Isaacson's our engineer, and he's out in Princeton, Illinois.
Nice.
So we have a little bit of a drive, but man, he's like the sixth member of our band. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Just kind of helps us refine our ideas, that sort of thing. When we're in the studio. So yeah, he's fantastic, man. And yeah, our last release, A Night In, he killed that one. We wanted a little punchier. We wanted a little more bite, a little more modern tone wise, guitar wise, punchier drums, that sort of thing. And I think he knocked it out, and we're proud of that release.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I was actually listening to it when you first called, when we were setting up the Skype, and you called and accidentally hung up on you. And the reason why was I was playing it on a different screen, and I was like, I got to stop everything to figure out what I'm doing here, and I accidentally hung up on you.
No, yeah, it's all good. I'm glad you were jamming us, man.
Yeah, dude, Use Your Body as a Weapon is stellar. I've listened to your discography on different streaming services, but I mean, right now I'm on your Bandcamp site where people can purchase it. I'm just going to say it right now, and I'll say it later, but I'm going to put links to everything down below. So if you guys want to find the Eugene Levy goods, scroll down to the description section. But how did you get started? Did you originally start playing guitar, or were you one of those people that like, I played drums or something, then moved to guitar out of necessity, or how does it all work for you?
No, for me, I kind of grew up. My dad played guitar forever, man. And,
awesome.
I picked it up probably 6 years old, and then just really never looked back. It was just turned into some sort of crazy obsession, and then, like I said, now I can't put it down. And it just so happens that I found 4 other guys that are as driven and as hungry as I am, and that's kind of, and you kind of see that, I think, with with Eugene Levy, you know, as far as, you know, us progressing and the growth of the band. It's a lot of drive, a lot of hunger, and we just have a ton of fun together. So, yeah, guitar's been my thing since I was a little kid.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can tell that you guys know what you're doing. You're not just kind of going out there honking out some power chords and hoping for the best. You know, nothing against that, because I'll tell you what, that's one of my specialties. So I'm
absolutely same here. Don't get me wrong, man.
Do you guys? I gotta ask you. Do you guys play in like down tune anything? Because I watched a couple of your playthroughs, and I mean I couldn't quite tell, but how does all that shake down?
No, so we do. We're a half step down at standard, right? So E flat. We do use your bodies in E flat, and then we're now. I think we are shifting, as it's just easier, you know, for vocal. You know, to hit, you know, key wise. So we actually drop down, you know, to well, I guess it would be D flat, C sharp. You know, so we're a little down tuned, but nothing major at all. But you know, yeah, just kind of keeping it within the realm of pop punk, and also, you know, a little heavier. It gives it that little heavier vibe, but still pop punk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was listening to it. I was like, this sounds so much in the wheelhouse of the 2003 pop punk era, but it sounds also heavy. You know, it sounds like it's got that low end bite to it, a little bit of chug maybe, if you will.
See, that's with Use Your Body though. Yeah, Use Your Body as a Weapon's got that not immediate chug session in it. You know. A lot of 4 Year Strong. That one reminds us a lot of 4 Year Strong. Or even, I mean, you can even go as far as to say that's like kind of newer school, Newfound Glory. You know what I mean? People doing a little more, you know, incorporating a little more, I guess, chugs, if you will. But they're fun, man. It's fun. It keeps it bouncy, keeps it. I don't know. I'm a sucker for a chug, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the best part about this is you're not. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm picking on anyone, but it's people that play gent music usually get the finger wag because they're chugging on just like one fret and then an open string. But you guys have a lot of dead area in between your chugs to soak up. You know, it's like it's not always the notes you're playing. Sometimes it's the space between your notes. So like you said, Use Your Body as a Weapon starts out with a chug fest, but then when the vocals come in, it gets that. It gives it breathing space in between all this slight chug fest that's going on in there, and it's really cool.
Yeah, the chugs just kind of get you in. You know, they kind of suck you in. We make it to where, you know, we don't want it to be a skip-worthy song. You know what I mean? You got to grab attention quick, and we think on this song it does. You know, they're like, okay, you know, I'd like to hear where this goes, and then we're a very vocally driven band.
Yeah,
you know, we want good hooks. We want that poppy sort of vibe, you know. It appeals to everybody's ear. I don't care if you're a metalhead or a punk head or whatever you are. Everybody's a sucker for a good pop melody. So, once Brian kicks in with the vocals, man, we just kind of let him shine, and then we just cut back.
Yeah, man. And like I said, like that's a perfect example. That song is the first song on your most recent EP, if I'm not mistaken.
100%. Right.
Yeah. So there we go. It's the first song. So check out their new EP. Check out that song. It's beautiful. Like you said, you get the part that gets everybody interested in what's going on, but it also like is very high energy. Like you almost want to start like elbowing the person next to you and jumping around a little bit, and then the vocals come in and all those chugs. He gives the vocals breathing room to take center stage as to what's going on.
100%. Yep. And miraculously enough, we actually open our set, you know, to like right as of right now, we open our set up live with that song. So it's we come out, you know, almost essentially with a punch to the gut. You know what I mean? Right out of the gate.
Dude, that's perfect. That's perfect. You know, speaking of your singer here, let's give him some props. I did see on your Facebook that he recently graduated. So shout out to Brian for graduating.
Graduated from Augustana, dude. Yeah. A lot of people said that wouldn't happen, and he made it happen, man. So we're very, very, very proud of him.
That's cool, and it's cool that you guys, like, as a band, kind of get along like that. You know, we're
all like brothers, dude. It's absurd. Yeah, I mean, I live next door to our other guitar player, Brian Wilson. My house is literally next door.
Dude, it makes it easy. Even in these COVID times, you can hang an amp out the window and trade riffs.
Dude, yeah, we've been writing this whole time. So yeah, we're hitting the studio June 27th. So keep your eyes peeled.
Oh, new album, possibly
New Levy. Yeah, we're gonna drop some singles, I think, first, and then I think you should probably expect an EP. Upwards of 7-8 songs around October, Halloween time.
Cool. That's awesome. You guys are staying really busy. How many albums have you guys put out? Because it seems like you guys have put a few
2 EPs.
2 EPs before this recent one.
2 counting this one,
Okay.
And then I think two singles that are just on their own.
Okay.
Every band needs a Revos, and Prometheus would be stoked.
Yes.
But yeah, yep. 2 EPs counting a night in. We've only been around barely over a year, man. So we're still growing, and we think it's at a really good pace. We're doing a lot of big things right now, man. A lot of new merch. We're starting to revamp our social media sites. Like I said, that Bandcamp, that's all new stuff.
Cool.
We got new merch coming out right now. So, we urge everybody to support local music, support us through all these hard times, especially. We want to get out there bad. And we're unable to. But so far, June 11th, we got a show in St. Louis, so we're really stoked on that. We're playing with the Queers and Handguns. So
cool. So that show is still going then.
Still going on, I guess, dude. It was a reschedule. So I hope. Fingers crossed, man. We'll be down in St. Louis for the first time, debuting Eugene Levy.
Dude, that's super cool. There's nothing better than going to a new town and showing up, and it's it's like a fresh market. Nobody's ever seen anything like you because you obviously haven't been there before. So it's really cool to give everyone a chance to see what's going on, especially if they really dig it.
And that's the goal, man. Hopefully everybody digs it, and we gain new fans, and then we just continue to venture out, man. We we're from the Quad Cities here in Iowa, so we played here hundreds of times, it seems like now. But at some point, it's just time to venture out and see what this band's going to do and what it's got potential to do, and if we can gravitate towards new fans and just see where this thing takes us, man.
Yeah, exactly. Have you been in any other bands before Eugene Levy, or was this your first attempt at a band?
No, I've played in bands all throughout, middle school and stuff like that. And then I'm actually from St. Louis originally, so I played in a metal band called Wolf Native. 2013, 2014.
Uh-huh.
For a couple of years, and then called it quits. I moved up to Iowa for work. My dad, I work with my dad right now, and then found these guys, and this has been I won't say most successful, but the most fun for sure, and the most driven people I've been with so far. And I think it's shown through our success, if you will. I mean, we've had a lot of good vibes, a lot of good things said about us. We're on radio stations around here. Shout out 93.1 The Buzz here in Muscatine, playing us during the day even. I mean, it's hard to get on the radio nowadays, man. Especially being a local guy, and rock at that. I just feel like rock's just really taking a back seat to everything else nowadays, and we're blessed to be a part of some of these radio stations here in the Quad Cities. So we do appreciate all the love.
Yeah, I mean, I have done my fair share of contacting other radio stations. Like I said, I'm from northern Iowa, but I'm in a band, Three Finger Betty. They're based out of central Iowa in the Des Moines area. And I mean, so we have this ability to kind of have a small set of networks around the area to kind of hit up some people and be like, hey, we've there's in Fort Dodge, there's a radio station. They've got the Regional Rock Hour is the radio show on 92 Rock. It's 92.1. But
okay.
Mason runs that show. He plays regional music from around Iowa. If you're not on there, hit him up. That might be a good one. And
definitely.
Anybody else listening, there's a free plug for Mason. Yeah, hit him up. That's a good place to get your music out there. And the local stations are actually really great places to hit up because, believe it or not, most big-ish cities have a radio station that has a show dedicated to playing local stuff. And a lot of times they're more than happy to hear from local bands.
And you're right. There's one here actually in Davenport. 93.5 iRock. So it's iRock here.
Yep.
I was actually blessed to do an interview there at the station. It's called The Local Stage. Thad Shoemaker, he's my if may I dare I say guitar tech. He does all of my stuff. He's a luthier out of Davenport. Makes fantastic guitars. He sets all my stuff up before shows, all that good stuff. And he just threw out this idea, I guess, this radio station to start debuting a lot of these local bands around here. And we were blessed to be the first guest on. And we get played all the time. And it's like Sunday at 8 p.m. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. He'll play, everybody who's anybody. So it is awesome. There is a lot of this going on that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense to reach out outside of your area because, I mean, I contacted Thad just recently, like within the last month or so, and I said, hey, we just recorded some stuff. We got a couple songs that are ready for radio that we haven't released yet, so we're just kind of like teasing everything on the radio, trying to force everyone, like, if you want to listen to New Betty, you've got a shot in your area, but you've got to listen to that local radio station to get it.
I like that idea.
So
I like that.
So, I mean, it's one of those things. I've always been big on networking and trying pushing people towards everyone else's material because you'll always have the opportunity to see Betty live, eventually, I guess. Or like it'll be online somewhere to stream eventually, and you can listen to it, for quote unquote free, quote unquote, if you want to, YouTube or whatever. But like I said, it's always nice to at least hand a little bit back to these guys that are on the radio doing the work because it's ridiculously cool exposure to be able to be like, dude, my song's on the radio. And I mean, even though it's like I said, it's on a local level, you can still put stuff on the radio and people will like, they'll send you a Snapchat with like, dude, they're playing your song on the radio. And it's like, yeah, they are. Isn't that neat?
I just had a guy do that to me this weekend. He goes, hey man, heard you at 4 p.m. or it was like 4 or 5 p.m. During the week. And I was like, wow, that's very rare. You don't get people who just, play you during the week, on a weekday, you're getting all the big national bands that, that you're used to hearing. So I couldn't believe it. It just makes you feel good,
Yeah. I mean, like one of my favorite things ever is to slide in some local music with some stuff that people already know. And then like my favorite is when they can't even tell that it's local music. And it's like, dude, this literally just slid past them and they didn't even know it because it's that good, or they'll be like, who is this? Is this the last band we were listening to? It's like, no, this is Eugene Levy,
I know. Yeah. I wonder how often that does happen. God, that would be funny. Yeah. Because I hope we don't suck, you know what I mean? But it's like, hey, we're all biased towards our own stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Obviously, I mean, us as musicians would probably. Everyone's got to admit it. Everyone's pretty biased towards their own stuff, but I liken it to food. I like cooking for myself because I'm maybe a picky eater or something like that. So I know what I like. However, there's nothing better than when somebody else makes food for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Good analogy, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they could make the exact same thing you just made. Like you could make a hamburger and someone standing next to you could make a hamburger and make them exactly the same. And you could trade them with each other and it would taste 1,000 times better. I don't know why.
It's made with love, man. I think,
Yeah. Yeah. It's sharing, and that's like,
dude.
I think that's probably the coolest part about at least delving a little bit into the music scene or playing live and being able to see that there's some bands like this around, and you guys coming out of the eastern part of Iowa, I guess you could call it eastern, because you guys are, like you said, Quad Cities somewhere over there.
Just south. Yeah, just south of Quad Cities. So.
Was it? Like Muscatine area, right?
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. So, like, I mean, you guys have a very packed music scene over there, from Quad Cities to Iowa Cities, Ottumwa to like Muscatine, and like that.
I would agree.
It's wild. There's so many of you guys' bands over there. Do you think that is? Do you think that the bar has been raised in that area, which is why there's a new crop of bands that are kind of coming through as I want to say like this is the standard now, because there's so many bands over there that are so good, and I could point fingers at so many, like let's say Good Devils and TV Cop. Mm-hmm. Those have always been like two of my favorites.
TV Cop are the homies, man.
Yeah,
we love those guys.
Dude, they were one of the first bands I buddied up with when I started playing live music around here. I was like, oh, I'm going to see you guys every opportunity I get, and it's always been tons of fun. Man. Yeah, do you think that like having like all of that available to you guys over there kind of raises the bar, or what do you think? Because
I don't think it's raise the bar. Yeah, you could definitely say that. Just because, like you don't want to disappoint, anybody around, especially when you have that sort of, I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Is it like, they're bringing such a good package. Like all these different bands are bringing such a good product. Mm-hmm. You don't want to suck that up. You know what I mean? You don't want to follow it and be worse, or it does. It gives us all that hunger, to bring the punch as well. Like production wise, we're gonna spend the money on the best production we can get because, that the bar's up there. You know what I mean? That's where the bar is. Unfortunately, it just depends on how where you want the bands to go. That's some of these bands. They're doing it to have fun, and production isn't a huge deal to them, or having merch and having all their social, all these websites and all that. Some of it depends on where you want your bands to go. I guess you know what I mean. We just take it to a different level, and my God, yeah, you're right. Around this area, there are so many bands doing it, man. That are trying to make it out, and I think that's probably the correct wording. Is they're trying to take this thing regional, national, that sort of thing. There's a lot of hunger over here on this side, man. There really is. Ton of good bands. Not only punk, I mean metal to just generic generic rock that you hear on the radio stations, like Allborn, 5 a.m.'s out there. You got Manhattan Blockade. Love's Blind is a brand new band comprised of a bunch of those bands that I just mentioned. They just got together and put out a song called Borderlines. Dude, it's fantastic. I mean, yeah, man, it does. It's humbling out here. It really is, and I don't want to say it's a competition, but you want to, it depends on how bad you want it type thing, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm totally with you, because I mean, every time I take the stage, I'm a little bit nervous, and I feel like everybody's always at least somewhat just a tiny bit nervous, and some of that comes into the fact where it's like, I don't want to embarrass anyone around me, or I don't want to be in the band that's the reason why everyone goes outside to take a break, or like, something like that. You don't want to suck the air out of the room when there's somebody else playing before and after you that you look up to, I guess would be a good way
that's exactly what I was trying to explain. And that hits the nail on the head. You know what I mean? That's it. And if you're a musician and you don't get nervous before you get on stage, like, I just, something's wrong, at least for me. I've played more, so many shows, and doesn't matter even if it's in our hometown, I still get nervous. Yeah.
I mean, I still remember my first show was in front of like 9 people, and that like included like 3 people from another band, and it's like there's like nobody here, and I'm just so like nervous about this, but that shows that you at least take some pride in what you're doing. And I mean, you can totally tell, like we talked about in the beginning of this, you can tell that it comes out not only in your song craftsmanship that you guys have going in Eugene Levy, but as well as like the production value for the recording and the way everything looks. And yeah, man, I mean, you guys got a lot going on over there in that end of the state, and it's one of those things that I'm trying to find my best way to like network with as many of you out there as I can to kind of bridge the gap, because even though we're only a couple hundred miles away, it feels like forever away, like as far as being able to go down to like the Muscatine area or the Quad Cities area to see a show. That's a 4-hour drive. It's insane.
Yeah, it just doesn't, it's not logistic, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and that's, we understand that. And so for us as bands, it's up to us to get out there. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Maybe there's a venue up where you guys are that, you'd like to have us up at, you know what I mean? And that's cool too.
Yeah.
We'd be honored to go up your neck of the woods and play, so this is cool that you do this. So don't be afraid to reach out, man. We'll, yeah, we'd be glad to hop on with you guys anywhere. So awesome.
Hey, like this is probably the coolest part about like doing a podcast, is that it actually like gives me an excuse to sit down and like talk with some of you guys and see who's making the music and what they're all about, as well as like, having people kind of get to know you a little bit better and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's really neat that, I feel like I want to say it was because of, the local stage, they made like a Facebook group, and I saw that you guys had posted a music video in it.
Heck yeah.
And I clicked on that and was like, dude, this is quite all right. And then I made a post on Audible Farm's page, and you commented on it almost instantaneously. And it's those.
I've been trying to get on Audible Farm for a while, dude. You guys are great, man. And like I said, I think it was good. It'd be good exposure for both of us. There's a win-win for everybody here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's probably also the coolest thing is there's a lot of people from around the state that listen to what's going on here, and not just they tune into episodes here or there. They're like, oh, I've heard of this band. This guy's in that band. I'll check it out. And they kind of get to know some people. And I hope it's like helping some people network, because that's really the whole reason I'm doing this, I guess. But it's really cool that people are kind of jumping in on this. And that was another one. Like I know that you and I have contacted about doing this in the past, and I'm glad that we're finally in on doing it now. Your guys is. Like I said, I've been cruising through your guys' YouTube page. I don't have it pulled up here at the moment, unfortunately. But
it's all good. It's just youtube.com/Eugene Levy Band.
Oh, there it is. Boom. Hey, cool. And they're like I said, you guys can find there's playthrough. There's also music video as well. Yeah. And music video is cool. The playthrough is awesome. One of the things that when I was watching the playthrough, I could see your guys' cabs in the background, and you were talking about the tie-in with American Pie and Eugene Levy, and I saw your guys' logo.
Huh?
Dude, the logo is so killer.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's like what American Pie's movie was, except we just put Eugene Levy in it, and I think that helps people associate. When you look at that logo, you don't think of anything other than American Pie, and then we're like, boom, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
So hopefully Eugene Levy doesn't send us a cease and desist letter, or anything like that. That would suck,
Nah, I mean, I don't think he would. It's honestly at this point in time, like I feel like there's a lot of liberties that local bands get too, that we get to express ourselves with by not being multi-million-dollar affairs or
exactly,
because we're just pretty much selling CDs out of the trunk of our cars or whatever you want to call it nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're taking away from the viability of somebody else. But as far as a memorable logo, your guys' bands is like one of those ones where it's like, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. It's almost like it's hard to describe, but like you make this perfect bridge between like, oh, it's Eugene Levy. He was in American Pie. It's got the logo, and it's like you said, it's memorable. It's crisp. It's effective. It's is that something you guys came up with on your own, or was that just like something you brainstormed and it just kind of came out, or what?
No, it just came. Yeah, that our singer Brian Martinez, he came up with the whole idea. Man, he used to be in Exit Emergency. I don't know if you heard of those guys. They're more of an emo pop punk sort of. That angsty stuff, you know what I mean? They did some small tours and whatnot years ago, but once they kind of broke up and took their, all went their separate ways. A couple of the guys still wanted to do music together, and they wanted to do more positive stuff. Exactly what we're talking about. American Pie soundtrack worthy songs, and this is exactly what ended up happening. And that logo, I think, was just another one of his crazy ideas that turned out absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, crazy or not, it's beautiful. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and we kept the logo. We just got new cab screens actually for this year. But we kept the logo. We couldn't go with anything else, because I think right now, especially as early in the career, in Eugene Levy as we are. I think it's crucial that people get that instilled in their head everywhere we go to play live. You know what I mean? That's what we want. That's what we want up there. First thing, before we even get on the stage, we want those cab screens and that logo to be popping out everywhere. So it's just just sealed in people's minds before and after the show. And then when we step on stage and hit that first note. We hope that's exactly what they thought that they would hear. Just by seeing the logo, you go back to those songs, right? In American Pie in the movies, and you're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole package deal, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, the it's almost like positivity based music where it's just like it's just me and my buds and we're hanging out and we're gonna party until the cows come home and or we're just gonna hang out and everything's good and we're just gonna high five all night long. You know, it's
That's it, dude. Yes, absolutely. We love it, man. Like I said, I live next door to my guitar player, and I mean, we literally hang out all the time. I just had a baby recently, so
Congrats,
he also
man.
became yeah, thanks, dude. He actually he became the godfather of my son, and you know,
Cool.
so yeah, man, we're like I said, we're like family, man. Eugene Levy, we're absolutely like family. So we treat everybody like that as well. We love our local scene. We love all the bands around here. We'll do anything for anybody, man. You know, so there's no competition, I should say. There's no competition anywhere, dude. It's just all love, and you know, just playing music for the love of music and for the love of creating music, and that vibe, that feeling that we get together when, you know, when we're at shows, and yeah, man, we just need more of it in the world, and I'm glad that Iowa's got that sort of scene that we can do that.
Yeah, I feel like for a long time that was missing. I was gonna say like having a guitarist live next to another guitarist and you're both in the same band, that might not work out so well for every band.
It's true.
And you know, like that kind of coincides with the fact, like you said, the positivity around your guys' area it seems to be growing, you know, and it seems to be growing around the state. There seems to be a lot of people more willing to network with one another and play shows with one another.
I've noticed that, and that's great.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not trying to say like 10 years ago everything sucked and nobody supported it. You know, that's totally not the case. But like, I'm sure every town and every scene has like a tiny bit of infighting that goes on. But
Of course.
I mean, like I live in, like I said, northern Iowa, small town area, and we don't have the availability to argue with one another because there's not enough musicians to go around. I mean, there is, but
True. Yeah.
But you know, to have a handful of bands, everyone's got to kind of get along in order to maybe play a show or go to someone else's show, and it's kind of neat up here. Everybody really kind of gets along with each other, but it also fits that small town vibe too, and
really does.
You know, and I when I first started playing shows, it was in Des Moines, and it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't always see a lot of support going on from like one band to the next. But as it all progressed, I'm starting to see a lot of bands really support each other. As far as even like members of bands going out to a show that they're not even on just to go see. You know, like I said, like if Eugene Levy came to town and I didn't have a show, I'd go to one of your shows. You know,
that has to happen. You know what I mean? We need way more of that.
Yes.
I mean, we just do. I mean, support your local musicians. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. You know what I mean? And I can't stress that enough. And I don't think a lot of people know about the logistics on how money works and how ticket sales go and all that for these local bands. If you buy a ticket from a local band, it helps them out tremendously. If you go to that show but don't buy from the band member and choose to buy it at the door, you've helped that local band zero.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, I wish people knew. I wish there was more education on that. And I mean, I think this right here this helps. You know, some of us these less little people. Be able to educate your listeners and you know, everyone else who chooses to listen to this, see exactly how this, you know, the local scene works, man. And it's just cutthroat. It's very hard. It's hard to get off the ground. There's a lot of money that these bands pour into their bands to make this work, and it helps a whole lot to have your community come through and support those bands. And it means the world to us. It really does. Even a shirt, you know, buying a shirt off of us, or a download, a stream, anything, a pre-save, you know, of a single that's coming out or whatever, that really helps. And people don't realize, I think, how much that helps us.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing I think a lot of people don't understand is there's so many different business models when it comes to setting up a show that I think a lot of times it might just kind of confuse like the average person, or they like don't see why
they don't care. It's just a lot. There's a lot to know. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could put on a show and get paid a percentage of the bar and not charge at the door, or you could put on a show and rent the building and take tickets at the door and take all the money, or you could have a promoter set up a show and then they take all the money and divvy it out to everyone. But that's a situation, like you said, if you're the band and they're like, here's 20 tickets, sell them all and come back for more if you want, and then you sell them all. Then you've made the money that you've sold the tickets on. But if somebody just walks through the door at showtime, then they just gave the money to the promoter, which, I mean, that'd be everything's a tough shoe to stand in. Like, I wouldn't want to be a promoter at a show trying to scrounge together $3 and $1 at a time to make $32 for your hard, 3 weeks worth of promotional work. Everything is
seriously what it ends up being. You know what I mean? Those are not made up far-fetched numbers. You could make $30 in a night for, just like you said, 3 weeks of promotion. Not only that, your gas money to get to the venue, all that stuff, man. There's a lot that goes into it. We don't make hardly anything out of it, but we're out here grinding so hard to sell these tickets, and it's hard to see anything in return. And that's how a lot of these bands end up quitting. You know what I mean? I think they don't want to go through that. It's tough. There's no return on investment. And if there is, it's very little. And if, say you get those 20 tickets that the band has to sell, if you don't sell all 20 of them, that comes out of the band's pocket.
Yeah.
So not only that's a pay to play.
That's a pay to play.
So,
yeah, that's the term I think a lot of people don't understand too, is the pay to play. I mean, there's situations where you have to just outright like pay the promoter money anyways to play on the show, and like sometimes that's a situation where it's like, well, you got a world touring band that's coming through and they need money, and if they don't draw it at the door, they're gonna have to get it somewhere, and they can't charge $40 for a show to see this band because it's going to be at a small place. So they make up some of it by the pay to play rules that they set up, which, I mean, and that comes back down to how does your band want to function, though? That's a very preferential thing for each individual person, because some people live and die by the pay to play and some people do not. It comes down to
willing to do that. That's the thing. You know what I mean? You have to suck those up sometimes, man. Some bands won't do it unless they're getting paid. Like, I'm not playing the show unless I'm getting paid. And sometimes it's an X amount of dollars, or that, it just depends. But we will, if it's a big band that's rolling through, like, I don't know, it could be anybody, Newfound Glory or whatever, but you have to pay to get on that bill. Sorry, we're paying to play that show. You know what I mean? Because of the recognition, because of the experience alone. Like, we opened up for Bayside in Chicago last November.
It's awesome.
Dude, it was awesome. It was a battle of the bands sort of thing. We didn't have to play by any means a battle of bands and, round one, round two, nothing like that. It was a voting deal. And so shout out to Bayside for putting something like that together. They had a local band from every date of their tour. A local band would get to open up for them. And we went up against a bunch of bands out of Chicago, and little small town Iowa band Eugene Levy beat them all out because of the diehards that we have that are supportive of Eugene Levy, dude. They voted every single day for however long it was, and sure enough, we made that trip to Chicago, made a bunch of new fans, and that got our name in Chicago. So it's a hunger thing, dude. We do not care. I will pay to play a show to be exposed, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people like to argue, like, well, exposure doesn't fill my gas tank, and it could be, blah blah blah.
I get it. Yeah,
I get it too. I get it too.
I love it though. Sorry, I love to play my music, and I want. Not everybody gets to do this, man. That's the thing. Like, and I just can't. I can't live in regret. That's just my thing. And if I could. I wish I would have. I wish I could have, would have. You know what I mean? I'm too old now. I push this thing as far as I can push it until there's nothing left, and I've got no regrets when I'm older. I love music, and I'll go to the end of the earth to make this thing my career. And if it never happens, so be it. I don't care. This we're having a blast.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the thing. Like we talked about this whole time. Sometimes it's like, what do you want to get out of this, and finding the right people to try to maximize getting what you want out of it.
Hardest part.
Dude, it is the hardest part, getting everybody on the same page to do the same thing. And it's nice that
you're only as strong as your weakest link. I will say that if you're in a band and your band is looking and you would like your band to get out of your current state, you better have everybody all hands on deck, because your band is only as strong as the weakest link. And that weakest link could be of anything, whether it be a drive, whether it be musicianship, whatever it is. We all strive to be the best, at our craft. I want to be the best guitar player. I want to be the best songwriter. We just strive for all that, and hopefully it comes out in our songs, and we just keep learning with every release. We just keep learning how this game works, and it's this music business, music scene, however you want to shake it, is just a big game, and we're all learning how to play it.
Yeah, I think the most important part while you're in this big game is just to have fun while you're doing it. If you're not
side of that, dude, otherwise I think it's a sinking ship.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you're not having fun, I mean, we've all had those shows where you show up to it and you're like, I don't know if I want to, I'm not feeling it today. But that's different than just outright not having fun and enjoying it, because everybody's been through something in their life where they're like, I don't enjoy doing this anymore, and you just lose all of your heart and all of your drive, and it's not enjoyable. And you've got to enjoy playing music, because I mean, let's face facts. Like, this is nothing more than a ludicrous runaway hobby for so many of us at this point.
Absolutely.
And that comes back to, how do you want to plan this out? Like, do you want to try and turn this hobby into something that could make you money, or like the pay to play stuff, is exposure something you're looking for? Do you want to play in front of a whole bunch of people and have them enjoy your music? Because I mean, the best part about this is I've seen a lot of bands. I've been able to cruise through a lot of bands' social media and stuff like that, and you guys have quite a few likes on your Facebook page here.
We're so close to 2,000.
It's very close, and that's pretty wild for a quote unquote local band.
Only been around for a year too. I mean, it says a lot about our community. That's really what it comes down to. Our community, and I think the guys' drive, and as well as our fans, for sharing us around. It's a one big well-oiled machine. Without supporters, without our community, without fans, Eugene Levy doesn't get this far. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's a testament to our hard work. It's a testament to our community, our fans, the love that we get from even our friends and local bands, sharing us around. Every release we put out, everybody shares each other's music, and so we all push for each other. That's what I love about Iowa so far, man. I've never seen anything like that. In St. Louis, it's super cutthroat. You don't get support, as well. At least in big cities, I think that's really what it is. Big cities, it's kind of tough. Everybody's kind of out on their own, out for themselves, if you will, man. And I hate to say it that way. It just from the outside looking in, that sure seems like the case. But here, man, God, everybody's got each other's backs, supports each other. We buy each other's merch. We share each other around. I mean,
yeah, I don't even want to count the number of TV Cop shirts I have. Like, I'm just gonna come right out and say that. Like,
that's fantastic, man. And those guys, I'm sure they're the sweetest guys in the world. They would, they're so grateful. They're so fun to be around. Those guys truly do this because of the love of music. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is one of those things that I feel is really cool around here. Like we were talking about, there's a lot of networking that's been going on as of late. A lot of people supporting each other and sharing each other's music. And I mean, I love the band I'm in. I love it to death. But it's so fun when people are like, dude, your new music is super cool. And then it's like, if you like this, check this out. And people are like, well, that's awesome. And it's like, I've played with that band. They're from, Iowa City. What do you think of that? And they're just like, are you serious? And
so there's another outlet. Now you can go see that band live all the time, or you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be a national touring band for somebody for that band to be somebody's next favorite band.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? As weird as it is, it doesn't have to be neck deep. It doesn't have to be Taylor Swift. It doesn't have to be any of those, it could be Eugene Levy or TV Cop could be your next favorite band. And they're right in your backyard.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's that good of production, that good of music being put out. That's just the truth.
It is. And it's also one of those really cool things when you go to, I feel like when you're one of the first on the scene to enjoy something, it's always kind of neat, like you're like,
feels good. For
yeah,
sure.
I was in on this before everyone else was in on this, and there's nothing cooler than going to these live shows and like, dude, there's like 50 people here. I am one of only 50 people that is like smart enough or like, that's in the know, that knows that this is a thing. And I'm one of,
for too long, hopefully that 50, they're playing 500,000 of cap room, you know what I mean? Just before, to where you're not able to see him again. You know what I mean? Like it could pop off at any time.
And it really could. Yeah. I mean, it's not an uncommon thing to have a band from, your local scene get signed to something. It might not be world touring, headlining arena shows instantaneously, but it's still, they might get dragged out on a small tour with one band for a certain thing, or maybe just a regional portion of a small tour with a band that's semi-famous. It could be anything. You never know. It's really one of those.
That's what we want, man. That would be so humbling, to all this hard work to be, all this hard work to go to something, man, and especially something like that, to get to get hit up to do a little regional run with a decently well-known band. That would be so cool.
Yeah, it would. I've always wanted to try and find some way to do like almost like a Vans Warped Tour type thing, but do it just in the Midwest and have like an Iowa version of it or something where it's just like you pick.
So cool.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't take much to be like Des Moines, Iowa City, Waterloo, Quad Cities. You just pick out like 5 towns, and it's like on 5 different nights we're gonna have these 5 bands be there. And you and 5 other bands from around the area just go and destroy the whole state. And come back and.
Wow.
I feel like it'd be a good way to kind of get the word out there about some of that stuff, especially if you picked a band from a different area for everything. Like you could do Eugene Levy from the Quad Cities area, TV Cop from the Ottumwa area, Three Finger. I'm just throwing names out. Three Finger Betty, Des Moines. You've got Americature in the Fort Dodge area. I mean, you could just, like I said, you could just start picking out areas, and you would at least have a little bit of built-in support in every town. It might be kind of neat.
And I think it could be done reasonably cheap.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much, even if it was just like a weekend at a time deal. If you just did it like, like even if it was 4 shows, 2 this weekend, 2 next weekend, it's a possibility.
Absolutely. And first, it takes a while for things to grow, you know what I mean? But my God, I think I hope that people are dying to go out to shows now. I hope that this pandemic made people think, really appreciate the things that now you can't do, half capacity, everything. Like, hopefully people don't take shows for granted anymore. We need more. We need more support, I think, as local bands, all of us, from our communities. It's great playing in front of 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 people, but I think you can do better, and I just, maybe I'm pushing too much, but I just think our communities could do better. We all start somewhere, and it's just about supporting your friends, supporting your, everybody in your community, local everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that even starts with someone, like us, the musicians, like supporting our peers. I've done it. I mean, just because I live in the middle of nowhere, I have to drive to go see shows for the most part. So I'm not shy about driving to Des Moines to go catch a show I want. That's 2 hours one direction. I've driven to Ottumwa to see Three Finger or to see TV Cop once, even like just because.
Yeah.
Just because
you got to do it, man. You have. I mean, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about your character. And I'm sure those guys are so blessed to be your friend and to have a supporter like that. So we're the same way. We'll do the exact same thing for anybody else, so I think that's what we need to be doing is we need to get out to your neck of the woods and have a little bit of a shindig, if you will, play a show together, introduce each other to our areas. We'll get you guys down here in our neck of the woods. I'm a huge fan of show trade-offs. So,
oh, me too. Oh gosh.
Yeah. I mean, it's exposure for everybody. And it gives, I think it gives a lot of people, something else. There's other things out there other than than Quad Cities or Iowa City or Des Moines bands. There's small towns got a lot of they got a lot of talent too. So
yeah, I mean, it should seem obvious, but even I am still finding this out. 90 episodes into the podcast that it's like I said, it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I was just like, dude, Eugene Levy hauls ass, and it took me almost a year of you guys out there pounding the pavement for me to finally just dive into the deep end and be like, I'm all in. I am all,
man. That's the thing. Don't sleep on us, man. I think we put out some good stuff, man. And I know I'm biased, but I think people really gravitate towards it. I know it's not, it's not it's not rap and ain't pop or anything like that. But I mean, I'm telling you, even if you like all that pop stuff, and I think you can appreciate what Eugene Levy puts out. We're good. It's good fun. And I mean, they're catchy. I think we write catchy tunes.
Yes.
Fun, catchy. I don't know. I enjoy it. So that's all that matters, I think.
Dude, and I really enjoy it too. And if you guys want to check it out, it's at Eugene Levy on Facebook. And you guys also have, I believe you have an Instagram. It's at Eugene Levy Band on Instagram. You guys got a website, eugenelevyband.com. You can go there and find everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Find the links to listen to them.
Shows all of our shows as well. So we've got shows all of our upcoming shows. So there
it is.
Throwdown is in Muscatine. That's a sweet festival, by the way. I think you should definitely make a trip down. It's on a weekend. It's like a Saturday, I think, every year. But Sam Kester from Heavyweight, and he also plays in the hardcore band called Still Standing from around here. He's been throwing this River City Throwdown show for years now, and we hopped on it for the first time, obviously, last year, and it was unreal, super fun. Doing it again this year. It's always in September. And then we're hitting up a Hollow Fest, which is right down the highway for us, in some dude's field, man. So it's
cool.
Yeah, but he does it proper, man. He hires the big time sound guy that does the fairs around here, and this will be our first time on this one. So I think it'll be ridiculous fun. But yeah, man, we're hopefully we get back to these shows, man. That's the big thing here.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back to playing live music. It feels so weird not playing live shows. I guess I got to ask you guys, did you play any like live streaming shows while everyone was getting in on that?
Over this. No, we didn't. I think we're going up to, Speed of Sound into Ben Hall.
Awesome. Dude, that's so
July
cool.
28th, so be looking for that.
Dude, that's so cool. I didn't mean to just like start yelling a bunch, but Ben recorded the new Three Finger Betty, and it sounds monstrously awesome. So Ben does good work.
Great at what he does. I've never met him in person, but he reached out and was like, "Hey, man, would you guys like to do this?" And I was like, "Let me get a hold of the guys, and we'll swing out a date and try to do this dang thing." So,
dude, I'm smiling so hard.
We're gonna do this.
Dude, I'm smiling so hard about this. I'm taking everything I can not to just like shake the table and be like, yeah.
Oh yeah, man, it's gonna be a blast. Yeah, we're pumped. So,
that's
and hopefully,
super cool.
hopefully that's another outlet. You know what I mean? Whoever Ben's followers, Ben's fans, they'll all get a taste of Eugene Levy, and and all of our fans are going to get, even all of our colleagues, guys in other bands, they'll see Ben's stuff and be like, wow. Let's go to him for production, or let's go to him for this and that. So, like I said, man, doing this with these bands, no matter who you are or where you're at, it's great exposure for everybody.
Yes. Yes,
and win all the way around, and that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to stand on stage and talk about somebody else. Like, you
100%.
yeah,
I'm
like
humble.
get
all
on,
humble like that.
yeah, get on stage and be like, "Do you guys notice I'm wearing, a shirt from Code Zero Radio, the internet
Always.
radio show?"
I always support everybody else on stage, man. Yeah, we always wear local people's merch. That's just a big thing. That's a big thing for us,
dude. And it's so awesome, like having that as an outlet too. Because I mean, like I said, I have so many T-shirts from so many local bands. It's absolutely insane. And I love wearing them at shows just to see if somebody notices and they're like, "Oh, cool." And
it's always a fun conversation starter too.
Yeah. I mean, like depending on the band or something, it's sometimes the shirts get really creative and people be like, "What's up with that shirt?" And it's like, "Oh, well, let me tell you," and you get a little in with them.
Yeah. You got to know the people in the band to understand. But I get it, man. TV Cop's great, man. All their merch is freaking awesome. They're clever. There's a bunch of just creative as hell dudes.
Yeah, I feel like they're really good at striking when the iron's hot, and they're like also one of those bands that doesn't put out. They're not buying like 400 of one shirt design and hoping to sell them all to everybody. They usually have small runs of everything. So that's a lot of these bands do too. Is if you like a shirt design, hop on it because it might not be around forever. I've missed my fair share of awesome shirts. Just because. So like, for example, if you're a Star Wars fan and you like Eugene Levy, why don't you have a Eugene Levy Star Wars shirt?
Exactly. They're out there. So yeah, please grab them up.
Yeah. And they might not be around forever,
That's for sure. We are, however, I guess this is a little sneak peek. We're so that Star Wars shirt you're talking about, we have that crest that's on the sleeve.
Yeah.
It's very Star Wars related, but it's also got a beer can tap right on the front of it there.
Yeah.
It's Eugene Levy, a night in Star Wars language. It's super cool.
Oh, cool.
That circle crest that's on that sleeve, if you go to Bandcamp and look at it, is going on a dad hat. So we're doing dad hat run.
Awesome.
All black, white embroidered logo. It's going to be sweet production. I think we're running 24 of those or something like that. We've got 25 shirts. Each design we do 25 run a shirt, or 24. No, it is 25. Yep, 25. So we're doing 25 of everything. And if those do well, you know what I mean? Then it doesn't hurt to go ahead and run, a double run of that. Since it's going to do well. We always up merch before we go to a new city or something like that. Merch is a huge thing for bands. People don't realize that's basically how we make our money.
Yeah, 100%, man.
So it helps us out a lot. We try to put out cool merch so people don't hate to wear it or actually do want to buy it. So how about that Seafoam, that Seafoam blue one that we got on Bandcamp now? It's got it's a summery vibe. It's got those pelicans on the front of it. It's got some palm trees.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's like one of those old surfer shirts. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of bringing that vintage thing, dude. We want everything to be kind of nostalgic, almost like a Miami Vice sort of vibe.
Yeah. And it's powder blue too. So
it's fun. It's a cool design. Shout out Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs does all of our designs for us. He's a bassist in 5 a.m.
Cool.
Fantastic band, dude. Go check him out, whatever you do. And Joe Gibbs does it. He's fantastic. He shoots all of our videos. He takes all of our promo photos. He's a do it all, dude. If you guys are looking for video work, photography work, new designs, you need anything done, hit up Joe Gibbs. He's on Facebook. Joe Gibbs Designs. I'm getting on here right now. I can't screw this up.
Yeah, you gotta give the proper plug.
Yeah, I gotta do a proper shout out.
And that's the second time you've mentioned 5 a.m. too. So I mean that's another cool thing is like throughout this podcast you've just been littering this with bands that every time you mention a band and I haven't heard of it, I just scribble the name down real quick so I can go check it out.
You have to. No, 5 a.m. is absolutely fantastic. They're more of a hard rock, but they're super poppy, right? So they're actually under management now. This is probably the highest tier that I think that in Eastern Iowa. So 5 a.m.'s they've been out a long time. A bunch of fantastic guys, and they're doing big things. I think they're trying to get out on tour as soon as they're able to, and we're trying to learn everything through these guys. So it's cool to have it's good to have these boys as friends of ours. You know, they help us out along the way, tell us ways to market, that sort of thing, what worked out for them, and so yeah, man. Joe Gibbs Photography. I think that's his. Is that the only thing? I think it might be. Go hit up Joe Gibbs on Facebook if you guys are looking for anything designs-wise, videos, all that good stuff. He's the homie, does great work. So all of our videos that you see on YouTube, all Joe Gibbs. So
yeah, I feel like you're right in the right area there for like a good way that bands can help each other is not to like don't keep secrets. You know, like don't if you figured something out. It only makes sense to tell another band that like this is what we figured out, because if our issue is not having as much people at shows, maybe if everyone was on the same professional level, people would start going to those shows. You know, like if everybody started sharing those secrets around and said like this is how I figured out how to do this, and more people enjoyed it, maybe it might not hurt for you to try this.
Exactly. Yep. We're blessed to have these guys. Manhattan Blockade's another one. Write those guys down. Check those guys out. They're our oldest friends. I would say they're out of Burlington, and bunch of fantastic guys that would do anything for you. They're happy. We played countless shows with these guys. So we all do the same thing for each other, man. I can't stress it enough that share each other around. We shout out, support each other, buy each other's merch, this and that. I think I just spent over $100 and something on a bunch of different local bands merch sites over this whole quarantine thing. Nobody could do anything, so I was just like, screw it, dude. I'm about to go just buy new shirts. So I didn't go anywhere else except for my homies' websites and bought merch, dude. So they were all super appreciative, and especially during times like this where nobody's really playing shows, it's everything's at a standstill. It means the world to us, and I'm sure it meant the world to those guys. So
yeah, man, I feel like we covered all of the proper bases to cover here, because we covered how awesome I think that Eugene Levy is, and how all that came about, and how to probably some of the best practices for people to kind of partake in as far as supporting their local scene. That's what it's always going to come down to, is supporting the local scene, and the more support we get from within the scene, the better off it's going to be.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to give shout outs to? Say hi to all your band members or whatever. We've covered about an hour, so I feel like we've got all the bases covered.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's enough, man. Again, shout out Iowa, shout out local music. Everyone here on the eastern side, keep doing what you're doing, and if everybody's looking for a good time band, want to get back to that nostalgia stuff, man, check out Eugene Levy. Let us know what you think. Give us a like, subscribe to our YouTube page, buy some merch, listen to some songs, tell us what you think, just stop by, say hi, shoot us a message, whatever. So yeah, we appreciate everything. We appreciate you. And man, don't be shy. Reach out to us. We'd love to go play at your neck of the woods, and then we'd be glad to have y'all.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today.
Absolutely, man. We'll speak soon.
Oh, man, what a cool guy. Never once have I met Cameron before other than this. A lot of the podcasts lately have been going that way. I think some of that's just based on necessity, and some of it is pretty awesome. I'm meeting a lot of pretty cool people just like Cameron, and because of it, I get to listen to their awesome music they create, like Eugene Levy. So I highly suggest everybody that has any sort of a soft spot for that pop punk stuff from the 90s into the 2000s, check him out. Eugene Levy is all over that material. Hit him up. Find them online, listen to their stuff, buy shirts. I got links down below for everything that you could ever imagine that is Eugene Levy. Their website's got links to everything too, so if you want to check them out on their website, click there, find all their goodies there, and then click around to all their good stuff. We talked about a lot of really cool things in this podcast. One of them was the scene supporting itself. That is something that is happening more and more, and it makes me happy. There's nothing that has made me grin on stage more than going to play a show in a town and having somebody that I know in the crowd that I didn't know was going to be there. Especially if they're from another band. It makes me so happy to see people supporting one another's endeavors and hobbies. And you know what? It doesn't matter if it's music, art, comedy, professional wrestling, anything. I hope everybody goes out there as soon as everything opens back up and does the best job of supporting somebody that they feel comfortable supporting. I know that it's going to be a little bit tricky when everything opens up. Everyone's probably going to be elbowing each other to try to get to a lot of places, and it's just going to be a little bit weird here for a while. But you know, like Cameron said, it doesn't take much to go online and find your bands, you know, your favorite local bands, you know, Bandcamp page or something, and shoot them a couple bucks for, you know, their new EP, or maybe buy a t-shirt or something along those lines. And that goes for, you know, artists and comedians and everybody as well. Everybody's got some sort of merch and material out there that it's another way to say thank you to the people who are creating the content out there. And you know what, I'm no stranger to buying t-shirts and stickers and things like that of the people around me that are doing awesome things. And I really just got to say thanks to everybody that is out there doing those awesome things. I really appreciate, you know, each and every one of the people I get to sit down and talk to and share their story. And, you know, Cameron was no different. He was really fun to sit down and talk to, and just a really positive and upbeat guy, you know, and it's all about just kind of having fun and enjoying as much as you can out of life, because that's really what it's all about. So shout out to you, Cameron, for joining me on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to Skype with me for the last hour. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to go see Eugene Levy live sometime in the next year. I'm stoked to hear what new music they have coming out, because I've already listened to their entire catalog, and it's amazing. I love it. So check them out. They're streaming everywhere. Otherwise, you can buy their stuff on Bandcamp page, and I'm sure you can find it other places. And speaking of finding stuff places, you could probably also find Audible Farm stuff. Audible Farm is located at www.audiblefarm.com. There's a website there that has links to everything Audible Farm. YouTube page, go ahead and subscribe to that bad boy. We recently created a music video for our buddy Clint Riedel. He has a song that is called Hey There Ma, and it is actually one of my favorite songs that he's done. It kind of, you know, it almost brings a tear to your eye. It's a very sweet song. And, you know, I was like, hey, you know, it might be kind of fun to make a music video for this. So Clint and I got together and we made a music video for it. So check that out. That's available at the Audible Farm YouTube page. You can go there and subscribe and check out all the stuff we have there as live videos of bands. More are being added from past catalogs that we've kept, as well as the podcast is going to be there, and I'm kind of in the middle of working on a new show. So there's going to be a new, you know, short show, little mini series of things going on Audible Farm's YouTube page. So head there and subscribe. And hey, you know what? We've also got t-shirts at Audible Farm. So if you guys want to throw some love around to some of those people that are trying to support the local music scene and everything about it, you know what? We can take a little bit of that money and we will give you a t-shirt for saying thank you. And our t-shirts are made of Bella canvas shirts, some of the softest shirts available. And you can find them right at our website. There's a description there. You can just send us an email and tell us what kind of a shirt you want. And it's that easy, man. Supporting local is one of my favorite things to do. I think everybody is doing a lot better job of it now than they ever have. And, you know, I think some of it's based on necessity and some of it's just based on availability. So for better or for worse, this is where we are at today. And I can't wait to go out and play some live shows again. And hopefully I get to play a live show with Eugene Levy. That way I get to see them live. So any bookers out there, you know, hit us up, Eugene Levy and Three Finger Betty. Let's book that show sometime in the near future. Otherwise, we're going to contact each other and do a show trade probably. So shout out Cameron. Shout out to everybody listening. Thank you, Couchtown Coffee, for supporting the podcast each and every week. Go to www.audiblefarm.com. Check out all of the Audible Farm goodness. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We'll check you next week. Peace.